Hey, how's it going? So I promised I'd make a video that has me casing. Um, it went kind of okay this Saturday, but I did have some issues, but I did get some footage. I'll share that with you in a minute. So before I do, just wanted to note that when I case, what you notice is I like to do it with addresses inside, to the inside. Some people like to have the addresses to the outside so that they can take a taco and just look at the outside of the taco, but I also have done my addresses to the inside and then I just pop open and look. That's just the way I've done it forever. Okay. I usually pull flat anyway, so yeah, address is facing me. And also the binding. So what I'll do, some people do flat, so they'll put it in the case like this. I was taught to taco, so to fold it up like this, with the binding to my right. Always my binding to the right, and then just put it in. Okay. All right, but let's get into it. My casing this weekend. Let's do this. Okay. So sorry about the poor quality on the pictures. You know, I was working. I took a picture. I didn't really take time to check it. But here's what I was facing when I walked in. I had a little stack of newspapers on my desk. And then in the elephant ear, you can see I've got a stack of those are newspapers, excuse me, magazines and catalogs. Those are my flats that are in order. And then on the floor, I had these two buckets of mixed flats. So these are things that aren't in order. They just came loose and then they had to be sorted by the clerk. So that's what that is. Okay. The order I did them in, I did the newspapers first, and then I put in my loose flats, the ones in the bucket, and then I took out the ordered flats and put them in. Now, I wish I would have known that I had these sitting in the elephant ear, these AARP. I didn't really look closely at the flats there. And if I had known about this AARP thing, that like 200 of my customers got, I probably would have done those right after the newspapers because they were big and a lot of people got them. So yeah. Honestly, if I had been in an LLV instead of my POV, I probably would have taken these on the side. They are in order, you know, so you could just take them out on the route and look at it and then say, oh yeah, this is the next one that gets one. So I could have done that. It's hard to do my own car though. So yeah, I cased them. So here is me casing the newspapers. So you can see, yeah, sorry about the angle, like I said. Sorry. So what I would do is, you know, just tackle them and put the newspapers in where they belong. Now my case runs carousel, which means that it starts at the top right, left-hand corner and goes all the way across the top row on all 3 shelving units. And then you drop down to the second row and go all the way across through all the shelving units and so on. There are some offices that have bookcase where you go in the top row on the one on the left. And then when that's top row in that case is done, you move down to the second row in that case and so on. And then once you get down to the 6th row and finish that, then you move to the center case. But this one is bookcase. You can see by the way I'm moving. And you can see too, like as I move along, I'm just kind of looking and I know it's in that row, but you know, finding that right slot. Okay. All right. So newspapers first. Let me move on here. Okay, after that, I moved on to my mixed flats. Now, when I do my mixed flats, what I do is, as I'm working through them, the smaller ones, I'll set off to, see by my keys, there's some smaller ones. I'll set those off to the side and I'll do those last. Like, those will go in before like my hot case, just before I do my hot case. That's when those will go in. And then the bigger stuff that's like the size of, you know, like a magazine or something, that stuff will go in right away. Okay, so I'll do all the magazine size stuff that's in the loose buckets. I'll set the smaller stuff off to the side, and then I'll do that stuff that's in order, okay, before finishing up with the smaller things. Because you want kind of like the bigger stuff on the bottom, right, and the smallest stuff on the top. Just that's how you build it, okay? So here's me putting in some more of those loose flats. You can see the newspapers are all in. I've got a few of those little mixed flats in. You can see up here in the corner, there's a yellow envelope. And again, I'm just curving them, binding to the right, and yeah, setting them in there where they belong. Okay. Don't know how much of this you want to watch, but that's me. So you can see that one, I'm holding my hand. The address isn't on the case, so I'm just setting it aside for the regular carrier because the address wasn't right. And then moving on, just kind of grabbing. I should say this too, while I'm doing this, the loose flats, sometimes I'll hold a stack of them in my hands and work out of my hands if it's a nice stack, but these, because there are a lot of different sizes, sometimes I'll just leave them on the desk, grab one, put it in, grab the next one. That's what I'm kind of doing here. Okay, because again, they're not all in order. Like the ones that are in order, you kind of hold and you put in as you go along, but these aren't in order, so it doesn't matter really if I'm grabbing them off the desk or just out of a little pile in my hand. Okay. All right. After I did all of those mixed flats, I moved on to my ordered flats. So the catalogs and things, put those in. All of that took me about, I'd say 40 minutes. There was quite a bit there, especially in those buckets. It doesn't really look like it, but those buckets were pretty full. There's a lot of stuff to put in. And then I moved on to these, my spurs. You can see there's a hamper there of spurs. There's some of them that aren't in. I took some out already by the time I took this picture. But I had about 120 of these small packages on Saturday. Now, a lot of offices, they'll put in their DPS with their flats before taking it out to the street, especially when they're doing a POV route. But I like to take my DPS to the street because it just takes me so long to do. It can easily take me like 20 minutes to do a tray of DPS. Now, some people can do it in 10 or less. That's awesome. But for me, I really don't want to spend like an hour putting my DPS in just to tear it all down again. So yeah, I tend to take that to the street. So anyways, yeah, the next step is I took this stuff and you can see some of it's already in there, but that's what I do with it. I take my flats and my spurs, I should say, and I just kind of put them in there with my flats. Now, if my DPS had been here, it would be very, very difficult to get any of these spurs cased, because the DPS takes up a lot of room in the case. It can make it hard to put in anything else. I will say this too, if you're brand new to a route, doing this and casing your spurs was actually not a bad idea because if you don't really know the order of the route, this is a good way to put them in order is to use the case. Now, you can do that after you pull down. If you're working in an LLV and you're going to have your spurs in a separate tray, you could pull down all your letters, all your mail, and then go in and case the spurs like I'm doing now. That will work, and it's a good way to put them in order if you don't know the route. For me, it took me about 20 minutes to put these all in the case. Probably would only take me like 15 minutes to just put them in order in trays. Because again, there's 120 of them. It's not like it's going to happen instantly. So this took a little bit of time, but 5 more minutes. But to me, working out of my POV, it's kind of worth it just to have one tray. Two trays I'm working on. I'm just working out of DPS. I'm working out of DPS and the flats and spurs. And the extra 5 minutes I spend doing this is a lot less time than it would take me to put in my DPS with my flats. So I'll just say that. Here you can see I'm having a hard time with this box. It's starting to fall out. So what I do is I set it in the elephant ear off to the side, and I'm grabbing a pen or a scissor. Yeah, I grabbed a pen and I put it in that mail slot so that I know when I'm tearing down, I see that pen laying there. I'm like, oh, there's something off to the side that has to go there too. So that's how I handle if there's a spur that doesn't fit. So a small package that doesn't fit in my case, but I still want to put it in with my mail. I'll set it off. Stick a pen or something or scissors in the case in that slot so that when I'm pulling down and I get to that address, I know, hey, there's something off to the side that goes in here. Okay. All right, moving on. All right. So this is what my case looked like before I pulled down. You can see all those spurs in there. You can see some are sitting on the bottom along the ledge. There's a couple up on top. So yeah, I got all my spurs there ready to go so that as I pull this down, I can put my spurs in with the flats, so in with the magazines. So I'm just working out of that one tray. Okay, and then this is what the elephant ear looks like. So I said, see the box that didn't fit there? It's sitting along with some other chunky ones that wouldn't fit in the case. So these are packages. Again, I want to put them in with my mail in the trays that I'm putting in my car, but they don't fit in the case. So no big deal. You know, I mark it with a pen or a scissors or something. And then when I'm pulling down, I'm like, oh, okay. And I look in the elephant ear, grab the package that goes there, put it in. All right. All right. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So hopefully this was helpful. If not, let me know more of what you're looking for. Again, it is kind of hard for me to get the camera in and film myself casing. I know I didn't have the best angles, but let me know what you think. Let me know if this helps at all and what I could do to make it better, and I'll try to do that. Okay. Again, I only work right now during the school year. I only really work on Saturdays and then do Amazon Sundays once in a while. So just one day a week, but you know, hey, let me know. And things are getting lighter anyway, so it's easier to do some things in the office. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll try to do better next time. Okay.